Hello everybody, this is the Cursing Seamstress. I haven't done a video in a long time. I did a PowerPoint kind of thing. I posted, I think it was last week. But I've made something that's really cute. Just on a secondary note, today is Monday the 26th, I think, of January. We had a sort of a rough time over the weekend in northeastern North Carolina. We had a lot of ice, a lot of rain, sleet, a little bit of snow. So yesterday was a day that I went nowhere except outside to get some of the ice off the steps. I'm trying to pull down I have a top on under this little jacket, and the sleeves are only 3/4, but anyway, so I'm trying to pull them down. And I did heat up my car and drive around the neighborhood. The neighborhood streets are gravel. It's kind of a path. It's a real small neighborhood. Drove around just to see what it felt like, and didn't get on the roads though. Today I'm probably going to get out on the road and go to my daughter's house. She's only about 8 miles away, and I think there's been enough traffic going by. The road should be pretty good. My grandson was out already hunting. It's some sort of a bird hunting season. I don't know what. So he said the roads were okay. But anyway, yesterday I downloaded a couple of patterns from Ellie and Mac. And mostly because I have a niece who has a daughter who is 2 years old. They live in Minnesota. This is called the Kids Be Curious dress pattern, and it's a dress, and I've made Ellie and Mac before. These instructions were very good. I've got them right here. So what this is a dress with a lined bodice, buttons in the back of the bodice, an attached gathered skirt, a ruffle. There's some options in there. There's a ruffle at the bottom. There's a long sleeve. I think there's a sleeveless, but there's a flounce sleeve, which is what I made. And then there's a long sleeve with the flounce. I didn't want to do that. I don't mind the long sleeve, but I know sometimes it's hard for me to, on smaller sizes, to get a circle in the throat of my sewing machine. Sometimes I can't fit it in there, and it's kind of awkward trying to do it sort of backwards and inside out. I've done it, and I've hand sewn it too, and but I just thought I'd do the easier way. So I'm trying to find a picture of the completed dress on the handouts, and I don't think there is one. But anyway, so everything is really straightforward. I had no trouble sewing it, and I volunteer at it's sort of a division of the Habitat for Humanity. They were Habitat for Humanity, but they were not bringing in enough money to keep that title, so they had to use a different label for themselves. But they're still under the purview of Habitat for Humanity. So I volunteer there to take pictures every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I go over, take pictures of some of their thrift items, and I put them up on the Facebook page. That's Tucker. I don't know what's wrong with him. So I knew that they had gotten some fabric in. I saw it in the back, but because of Christmas, they didn't put the fabric out until after Christmas. Because of all the Christmas stuff they had. So I found this fabric. There's a ton more. I'm going to go back. They usually will give me a discount. I didn't ask for a discount. I never have asked for a discount, but they Other times they have just given it to me because I volunteer. But this is the fabric. I want to make sure I have it upright. It's these chandelier kind of prints. They're different types of chandeliers, different shapes and things like that. So it is directional, and this should be the upward correct position. So there was probably 3 yards of this, which is, I pretty much needed most of that to make this dress. And let me see what he's doing. Hold on. There's a strange dog in my backyard. We have dogs in the neighborhood. There's only 6 houses on my road and another 6 houses on the other road in the neighborhood. I've never seen this dog. He looks like a kind of a chubby chihuahua. But anyway, so I'll just show you the finished dress. I'm so happy with it. I hate gathering. That's the only negative about this dress, is with any little girl skirt or dress, it's going to be gathered for the most part. So this is the finished garment. I did go with the ruffle at the bottom. I did it a little bit different. I had to make sure that the chandeliers were the correct way when I did that. So this is the front. This is the flounce. The back, I used snaps. These are Babyville snaps. Make sure you can see it. They're the best snaps. I can't believe that more isn't said about these snaps. They're just wonderful. So I put 3 of those in there. They're white. I've also got black snaps, so I thought white looked better. This purple fabric is a cotton. There's a little bit of a, I don't know, the chandeliers are, they almost have a texture to them. So I was careful not to use too high of a heat level, but it's a cotton. It's a nice weight. It's not thin. It's got good body to it. The flounces are wonderful. The thing about the flounces is when you put them on, they do not go from edge to edge. They stop before you get to the edge for good reason. I kept trying to want them to meet the edge, and so I finally read the instructions, and that's not something you need to do. It does say to top stitch around the neckline and around the back of the bodice. I didn't do that. I had already put the snaps on, and I really didn't see a need to top stitch. So the one thing that was a little different is the back here. You know, a lot of times when you'll have the buttons and buttonholes on the back of a bodice, it'll overlap. It'll be cut where one piece is longer to overlap. Well, this doesn't. So you just overlap, and then this bottom part of the skirt is kind of left open, and it looks fine. You know, it overlaps, and it just kind of blends in. So gathering around here is very, very tedious. Gathering this little thing at the ruffle at the bottom, very, very tedious. I did the ruffle at the bottom a little bit different. This is the piece here for the ruffle. So it's probably 2.5 inches long. I cut it, but then I folded it in half. And that way I didn't have to hem it. And that seemed to work well. And I think because I sewed a size 3 and right now she's only a size 2, I didn't really need a lot of extra length. So I thought it was fine to do that. And I like the way that it turned out. I did have a hard time gathering it though. And as I was pulling the threads, they snapped. And I finally gathered it on my Brother manual sewing machine. Nothing's automatic on it. For some reason on my Pfaff, it will not gather for me. I put it on a long stitch. I make sure that the system, I forgot, TRD, I forgot what the system is that makes it gather from makes it feed from the top and the bottom. I made sure that was taken off. I pumped up the tension higher, and I've gathered before on my Pfaff, but for some reason it won't gather anymore. But the trusty Brother sewing machine gathered really well, not quite as tight as I needed it to, so I did end up having to pull some of the threads to get a tighter ruffle on there, but I did, and it's just so beautiful. I'll just show it to you again. I still have my markings on there. I use Crayola invisible or washable markers, so that writing is still on there just for me to be able to tell which is the bodice, which is the lining, all that centers and all that kind of stuff. So I just love it. It's just beautiful. I'll show you the inside of it. I probably should have serged the ruffle at the bottom. I didn't, so there are, I hope you can see. So it's kind of rough there, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. It's top stitched. The bodice is, the facing part is turned under and covers up the main fabric that shows on the front. So that's a real neat look. So I might have enough fabric to make a little skirt. So let me think if there's anything else. There is a little bit of interfacing along the back of the bodice where you put either snaps or buttonholes and buttons. The flounce is not interfaced, but you do line one side of it. And I just use the same fabric for the lining, by the way. Everything's clearly marked. So again, long sleeves with the flounce is an option. And I think that's about all I can say about it. It's definitely worthwhile. Tell me if you think this looks like it's dedicated for Halloween. I mean, that was my first thought about it, but maybe, maybe she could wear it and it would just look like a regular dress. I don't know. I took it as Halloween fabric. I'm going to go back. The store is only open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so I can't go back until Thursday, which I'll probably do and pick up some more fabric. All right, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.